Our first interview session is with the alumnus of the Department of Food Nutrition and Dietetics. We have Dr. Swati Zaveri, Senior Clinician in Public Health Scotland, who will be interviewed by Ms. Shilpa John, visiting faculty and alumnus of Food Nutrition and Dietetics Department at Sir Vithaldas Thackersey College of Home Science Autonomous. I invite you to start the session.
Thank you so much, Niriksha. Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed an immense pleasure and honor to be here among all the alumni of our institute. I would now like to invite Dr. Swati Zaveri, an alumni from the Department of Food Nutrition and Dietetics. Welcome, Ms. Swati.
Hello, everyone. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati, for joining us today. Could you kindly introduce yourself to the audience present with us?
Hello, everyone. My name is Swati Zaveri, and I'm based here in Scotland in United Kingdom. And currently, I am working with the National Health Service of United Kingdom as a data analyst.
That's wonderful, Dr. Swati. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Swati, could you give us an insight into what your career path has been after graduating from SVT to your current role working in the field of public health nutrition?
Okay, so I graduated from SVT College and specializing in dietetics and nutrition in the year of 1998. Following that, I moved on to take a master's degree at MS University, Baroda, and I specialized there in the year of 2000. And following then, I started my work career, and my first job was at Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. I worked as a research dietitian there, and following then, I moved to Pune and I worked there in a couple of hospitals in Pune as a dietitian as well. And all this while as well, I was always interested in taking up an overseas degree. So I pursued that and I joined a doctorate program in Scotland, in Edinburgh, which is the capital city of Scotland. And I started my PhD in 2003 and I graduated in 2007. However, when I was doing my PhD, you're allowed to work for part-time when you're a student. So I was working as an assistant dietitian at that point. And once I finished my PhD, I started my first job as a mental health dietitian. And from then on, I have worked in number of places as a postdoctoral researcher. And moving on currently from then, I'm working as a data analyst in Public Health Scotland.
Okay, that's wonderful, Dr. Swati. Dr. Swati, how do you think SVT has played a role in your journey in being the professional that you are today?
I would say it has played a very, very vital role, and I'm really, really proud to be an SVT student and so happy to see all my teachers and everyone today. And just to give a wee bit of background, so in overseas countries, I know UK, I know US and Australia, I know at least three of them that if you want to work as a dietitian, and collectively we are called here as AHP, Allied Health Professionals, so they could be like occupational therapist, physiotherapist, a dietitian. Those professions together are called AHPs. And if you want to work as an AHP, as a dietitian here in overseas, then you need to be registered as a state registered dietitian for that particular country. And for that, so your name has to be in the National Dietetic Register. You need to be nationally recognized dietitian, and only then you can work as a dietitian. So to go on that register, you have to provide the evidence of your academic qualifications and experience. So for both, so then I had to do that in 2003, and I had to evidence what I have studied, and we had to fill in a course information form, and in that you have to mention every single subject that you have studied, and not just subject in, like, dietetics. So we had dietetics 1, 2, and 3 at my time. We had clinical nutrition, we had biochemistry, etc. So it's not you have to name the subject, you have to mention every single thing you covered in that. So say biochemistry, nutritional biochemistry, I had to even mention I learned like glycolysis cycle and gluconeogenesis, and everything you have to mention every single thing, because they want to know the depth of information that you have learned and studied, and you have the equipped knowledge and education that you can work in my country. So that is the evidence you have to provide. So I had to write about that for every single subject. And as part of this process, so you have to be state registered dietitian, and for that you have to give an exam at the national level, and you have to have x number of training weeks, like we call internship. So for that you have to evidence this portfolio. So I had mentioned everything about SVT, what I studied, and the internship program that we had and what we covered during then. Of course I had the master's additional qualification and internship and working experience in India. But together with all these things, and mainly because SVT was the main part because it was a 5-year program, I was so lucky that I got exemption from the national exam and the internship program of United Kingdom. So I didn't have to do anything, because I was really, really worried about the national exam and everything, because they can ask anything from anywhere. So I was really, really happy that I didn't have to do that. And it took me about 7 or 8 months for this process. So until then, I couldn't work as a dietitian. I had to wait for my registration. So I was working as an assistant dietitian at that time. That was the reason. But I'm very pleased, and very big thank you to SVT, the in-depth knowledge and the curriculum that we have had, and how in-depth they cover things. It really, really made it. I can say it made life so easy not to go through all that process, because it was really, really amazing. So thank you very much for that. So I think that was a very big step SVT played in my career, and it was a huge step. So that really, really helped me.
Right. Before I move on to the next question, I just wanted to ask Niriksha, we can obviously ask our participants, our students who are present here, if they have any queries or questions to ask Dr. Swati, they can definitely mention it in the chat box, and we can take a couple of them towards the end of our conversation. So
Yes.
students who are present here, please do put in your questions in the chat box, and we will definitely address them. So Dr. Swati, could you tell us any specific training or a learning experience that you had at SVT, that has helped you in your field as a professional?
Uh, I think I was a really hardcore bookish person. Really like to read books and study in that way. I was never really doing practical workshops and those kind of person. But we had all of them as part of our SVT curriculum, and I think that really, really helped us, because it improves your confidence, your communication skills, presentation skills. And I think one of the experience which helped me actually in future, which I'll come to it, was in our time in the last year of the dietetics. So it was last year, the TY, what we call the third year. We were introduced, and I remember clearly because I was the first batch, and I was like, we are the guinea pigs of that. We were introduced. We had to have pick up a particular topic, and we were asked to do a review of literature on that, and we were supposed to pick up, I think it was 2 or 3 papers relevant to your topic, and you had to present them. I absolutely hated that idea. I just didn't like it. I'm not the type. I was like, I don't want to do that. But it was great experience, and I think it was so amazing to do that, because the career path I always wanted was into research, and you can't get out of review of literature if you want to be in research. So I think it was a very, very good experience, and thankful to my teachers who thought about those things then. I never wanted to do, but it was really good because when I picked up my master's and my PhD, it just came so much like, so easy going because I knew the process, how to go about that and pick up a topic and review it and, critical appraisals and those kind of things. So I think that is one distinct memory. I really remember it because it really helped me in future career and my work as well. It was really, really good to then able to, search and look into any topic and talk about that.
Shilpa, can I add to what Swati is saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Swati, I distinctly remember you were the first student who opted to go out of Mumbai to do your internship. And I
Yes.
distinctly remember sending two of you to one of the reputed hospitals, that is the Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, CMC Ludhiana.
Yes.
And I think that was really a milestone in SVT, to send students at graduate level for internship in such a reputed hospital. And I think you did that internship for 3 months there. I think the requirement was 6 weeks, and you extended it and did it for 3 months.
Yes, and it was a fantastic experience. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I still remember it. My dad wasn't interested in, and he was like, "No, I need to come and speak to Madan, ma'am. I can't send you this far away." And it was so good. It was a fantastic experience. And the reason for that was for my experience then, I chose again to go in my master's as well to Ludhiana. I went to the same institute because I absolutely loved it. And I'm still in touch with Dr. Joshi, Dr. Molly Joshi, ma'am, till today because she was a chief dietitian there. But it was amazing experience, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, that is incredible. That's incredible. So it just shows, I think these are just insights that show the credibility of the institute and how much as a student we don't realize. But as we work in the field as a professional, all those learnings, all those experiences count. And we understand what valuable knowledge our institute has provided us. So we have a couple of questions in the chat box. So I'll take a few of them.
Sure.
Um, so you are working as a data analyst in the field of public health nutrition. So a student wants to know what exactly does your job entail? What exactly does a data analyst in a public health nutrition do?
So, as a researcher, I have worked in a number of places, and my role was right from commissioning a research study. So, writing a study, design a protocol, going through all the ethics approval, you have to approve it through at institution organization level, and commence the study right from beginning till the end. So, in the process, one of the element is data analyst, so analyzing the data that you get during your study. Now, I'm very keen on working going a bit more detail into analysis section, not do the whole commissioning thing. So that's why I chose to take a wee break in my career and think about it and wanted to go in an organization which purely works with data only. So it's a public health Scotland organization. So we would have PHS and we would have PHE. So then Public Health England would have Public Health England organization. So what we have that, so we are directly employed by Scottish government. So we directly report to Scottish government. And this is a body which is organized in such a way that every single, all the okay, putting it in Indian context. So say Maharashtra, Gujarat, every single state have to give their health data to Indian body, say IDA, for example. Okay. So in Scotland, we have 15 health boards. It's a very small, tiny country, but we have 15 health boards. So say, for example, South Mumbai will be one health board, North Mumbai, Vashi, Surat will be different health boards, something like that. So every single health board, right from your clinic level till the hospital level, every single unit, the health unit has to give data to us. We are the Public Health Scotland body hired by the government, and we are the only body who have been given the legal right to produce data. Okay, so any health related data, no one else can publish apart from our body. Okay, So in my organization, we have thousands of analysts. We are based all over Scotland, and we have hundreds of teams. So like say for example, we have primary care team, which is like your general practitioners, like doctors team, like when you go to the clinic in India, if you're unwell, that's the primary care. We have secondary care teams, so like in the hospitals, and we have tertiary care teams, which are very highly specialized. So say Tata Hospital will be a specialist, a tertiary care hospital. It specializes in one particular clinical condition, something like that. So every single teams gives us data, and we have the disciplines we cover is, so we have data from say A&E, accident and emergency, we have primary care data, we have data from mental health, we have data from like institutions like prisons, we have data from all the hospitals, everything. And we have hundreds of teams covering different topics, and I am based in a cancer team. So I'm working on the cancer data, and it's a very big team, and I'm a very tiny person. So I am working on, so we have something called waiting times data, which are published nationally every single month. So say for example, if I am in India, go to the doctor and he sees some symptoms. So I go in today and he sees some symptoms and thinks maybe this girl's got something to do with cancer. So he will refer me to a specialist, to an oncologist. And the oncologist might say, okay, do X, Y, this test, and then we will come to a decision. So then they take the test and they make a decision, okay, whether you have a cancer, then you go on this particular therapy. So nationally in Scotland, we have a standard by the country, by the law, that you are only supposed to wait. Every cancer diagnosed, the first treatment has to start within 31 days. So if I'm diagnosed as cancer today, I need to start my first treatment within 31 days. So that is the waiting times data that we produce. So like right from sitting in the clinic, when did you go to the oncologist, and when he was seen, when you were seen. So these are all the standard markers by law. So what I do is I get the data from every single health board, all the 15 health boards from the country, for every single person. So we have, say, for example, 5,000 new cancer patients, this month. And then I would get the data, and then I will analyze to see where how long the people were waiting in the queue before they were seen, before for the first treatment. So this is a publication. It's a national publication that we produce every single month and every quarter. Every single month publication goes to the government, and every quarter publication goes to the general public. So that's the rule. So I'm a very, like, in a small bit, but otherwise cancer statistics, like, we have screening programs. So we have bowel screening programs, breast screening programs, cervical screening programs. So there's a whole lot of analysts working in those screening programs teams. So again, for them, how many people were screened, at what time were they screened within the national recommended guidelines, etc. So this is one section of data that I work on. Hopefully answered the question.
Yes, you've given us a good
Sorry, too
insight.
much background, but it's just to try and put into the context to the listeners.
Yes, absolutely, because we have students joining us today and they would want to know more, and what would the role entail of an information analyst at in the public health and nutrition
Yeah,
forum.
so it's not I'm not working on any nutritional data. So we have a dietetic activity and physical activity team as well. I'm trying to get into that, but not yet. But they work with like obesity data, children's obesity data, immunization programs. So we have a team who working only on immunization data. Well, every single child is immunized for X, Y, Z, etc. So we have all those teams as well. So I'm not working currently as a dietitian, but my knowledge of health and experience and my research experience of analysis helps me to branch out in these kind of roles as well.
Right, absolutely. I think it all contributes to the skills we've developed at SVT,
Yes.
and that initiation of even the simple thing of just reviewing the literature, making that presentation when we actually look at a research article and, understand the procedure. I think that's just the basic or the first step. That is a long way ahead, and
I
then
think
we
it's
find
a great help because working with directly with Scottish government, so we have to answer the Parliament questions. We have to work with the ministers, the health ministers, and and because the law in the country is any single person who is living anywhere can put a query on us that, I want to know about this particular data for this country, for this particular condition from this year to that year. So even we have to answer the general public queries. So it's a very good experience, and talking to the ministers who have no clue and idea about health, and it's really a challenge. And when you talk so much in acronyms and BMI, and he's like, okay, hang on, what is BMI? And you just think that it gives so much confidence to talk to these people who are really non-scientific audience. And the moment you start presenting data, he's like, please speak English, I just can't get you. It's so nice to, try and, your knowledge in education, you publish something, but if the public can't understand it, it's just pointless. So you have to prepare that publication in a way that even general public can understand it, which is very difficult to convert the scientific,
Yeah. So
information. Yes, Madam Ma'am.
yeah. So Swati, I'm for the benefit of the students and the dietitians who are listening, I just want to ask you, in your country, is the qualification, like every dietitian who starts practicing, the qualification is regulated by the government, right?
Yeah. So it's
And,
a
and
it's a
what
legal
is, and
requirement. You need to be on that register unless you have been told by the country. It's like a stamp. So we have a health professional
every
council.
dietitian, every
Every
dietitian.
direction, no one can work, even if you have masters, even if you have PhD, doesn't matter unless you're not on that register, unless the government gives you that right. And it's registration, so every year you have to renew it. If you have not renewed it, again you fall through the net, you can't work. So
What is the prerequisite for that? What is the qualification called for a nutritionist or a dietitian in your country? And what is
I
it
think
that,
it's a graduate level. They don't expect any postgraduate level, just a
okay,
graduate level and some level of experience. And here, I think I know our curriculum is different, but I think I was really scared and worried that I wouldn't be able to get away through the internship exemption when I applied, because our internship was 6 weeks. Whether here they have internship as 9 months, so it takes the whole year, and you have ABC placement. So you have ABC level of internship. So level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1A will be like completely like an admin thing that you will be sitting in the office and working with XYZ. It's only level 2, you go on the floor, you go on the wards. And when you come to level 3, you are actually practically working independently on the ward, even as a part of internship. So when you come out of that internship program, you're very confident to apply as a dietitian.
okay,
Okay. So I think it's a lot that goes on, and I think the basis would be to get your foundation right. I think
Yeah.
if your basis and your foundation and SVT becomes a stepping stone to that, and giving you that base, that strong foundation that is needed, so that you can push ahead, in the field that you specialize in.
I think I like what Madan ma'am really pointed out rightly, because I chose to go for an extension of an internship. And if the students are not really or not interested in straight away going for a postgraduate exams or a master's level exam, then I think it would be really good to extend your internship program. And here in this country, when I came, it's 17 years now I'm based here, and I was so shocked that in the whole of Edinburgh, we were 36 dietitians at the time, and I was the only one going for a PhD. And we had another girl from Delhi who was on a PhD as well. And it was like they were in the impression, why are you doing this? You don't need it. If you want to work as a dietitian, you don't need a PhD. You don't need that. And it was really quite surprising. There were hardly one or two students who were even dietitians who were even masters. So for them, it is not like, it's a prerequisite to have a postgraduate degree to work as a dietitian. If you are a graduate and if you have experience, a good internship program, then you can start working on. Obviously, you work at a very basic level, but now it has changed. They really want for higher positions, they really want definitely masters and postgrad education level.
Right. Okay, I'll take one more question due to paucity of time, and then I have one before we conclude.
Okay.
The placement is decided just by the grades, or is there an interview? So even if you do from India, are there courses that we could pursue there that then after which you would place? I think you've already covered this a little bit, giving us a brief insight into the same, but we still thought to ask you.
So yes, the courses we covered that, yes, it definitely is very, very well recognized. And the moment you say you're from Mumbai, it is obviously highly regarded because they just think it's a big mega city and you can't be, not having from a good industry, good reputed university. So yes, when you say Mumbai University, it is quite recognized and you have to still evidence it. And yes, internship program from India is also very helpful. Here, the internship program, the way I don't know much details about it, but again, it is in a similar way. Like in my time when SVT, we also had the list of, hospitals and places where you want to go. The problem here, which many students face here, is if it is like I chose Ludhiana, but the finance is a big problem because you are not given any kind of stipend or anything in internship here. So if you're moving from your home base, if you're not living with parents, if you're living somewhere and you need accommodation and everything, so not many people can afford that. So that kind of restricts a wee bit, like for internships.
Okay.
So the location restricts it, but many of the times the list of you pick up the list, but mainly it is just because they have to match say one or two students together because they don't want you to be alone in one organization or a hospital. So sometimes many students feel disappointed that I'm just given and I didn't get the choice that I was looking for. But because it is such a long internship and it is such a long program for them, like 9 months to 1 year, so I think you can get different experience in different places as well if you asked for it, like, after a wee while. But I think, you do have some choice, but you might not have very big choice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My last thing, any last words, a piece of advice, or a message to students who are listening to you, who are presently studying at SVT College? Any last words, Dr. Swati?
So just want to say that there is lot of things out there. There is so many opportunities today compared to my time 20 years ago. And although I wanted to do so many things in life, and I have done, I was really a wee bit introvert, like, thinking like, oh my God, like, how will I do this? And, I was so like, anxious and everything. But I would just say, just go for it, give it your 100%, give it a try. That's the only way it's gonna work. And it's and it can't go that it can't go wrong that much. That's all I can say. Just give it your best and just go for it. It's just so many opportunities and so many fields. So I would say just take it as it comes. That's how I would say, but just go for it.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you.
inspiring. Thank you so much, Dr. Swati. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us today. Thanks a lot. I would like to screen share. Diksha, do I have the rights to screen share?
Yeah, just try that.
I'll just try the same. Is my slide visible?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Right. So this is for the students out there. We have spoken about public health nutrition in depth, and we have an alumni present with us giving us an insight into the same. But there are other career options that you could explore after you graduate from the Food, Nutrition and Dietetics department at SVT College of Home Science. For any further information, you can also visit our website, www.svt.edu.in, and our institute's contact details are also given on the same. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Swati, for joining us today. Over to you, Nireksha.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much, Madan ma'am. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you, Swati. It's such a joy to connect. And like I said, this is only the beginning of the story. We
Yes.
will connect many more times, and we'll take your
Surely.
expertise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Nireksha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati Zaveri, for sharing all the experience. And thank you, Shilpa John ma'am, for asking this question for us.